For some analysis on this, let's bring in Dallia Abdelmoniem. She joins me live from Cairo. She's a political analyst. Great to have you here with us on TRT World. Let me begin with the big question. Is this game over for the RSF?
It's never game over for the RSF because they are very emboldened, they are very weaponized, and we've seen in the past that every time they lose a significant area, they undergo like this revenge attacks, and already 3 members of the state television broadcaster have been killed by drones right after the army took over, recaptured the presidential palace. So it's never over till they're absolutely defeated, and they still control the western areas, the western region of Sudan, and that's a significant area in terms of size, population, and political, economic, and social significance. So the battle is not over yet.
So the fact that the RSF has immediately engaged in revenge attacks perhaps indicates that this battle is going to end on the battlefield, not on the negotiating table.
I think the negotiating aspect is no longer on the table, so to speak, unless some party, third party, comes in and grabs it by the scruff of its neck of this issue. There is no negotiation. Neither side has shown any willingness to negotiate. And in terms of the battlefield, I mean, this is a major significant blow to the RSF. They have controlled central Khartoum since day one, since war erupted, and the fact that they've lost a significant part of the capital to the army is a major blow. Especially, it comes in the foot of last week's video by Hemeti, the general leader of the RSF, where he promised that they will never lose the presidential palace. So one can only assume that they will, like you said, undergo more revenge tactics and attacks, or they will regroup. But my understanding is they have suffered significant losses in terms of armory and in terms of personnel, soldiers, and they are stretched thin. And they're also fighting the war on several other fronts. So it's a matter of wait and see. But in regards to the moral and strategic victory for the army, this is huge. This is really big, and it just basically further cements the fact that on the ground the army has been making major inroads on RSF-controlled areas.
Dallia, tell me, could this significant moment act as a catalyst for the RSF's backers to withdraw their support?
I think they're in way too deep to withdraw their support right now. And the only way that can come about is if there is external pressure on them to withdraw that support. And if you look at the global events right now, I don't think that pressure will come anytime soon. I think the only way this war will end is if one side emerges victorious. And at this moment in time, if you ask the majority of Sudanese civilians, they will tell you they want SAF. It is the national army. It is a state institute. And the RSF is a militia that is supported by various other external parties. And not because for the goodness or for the benefit of Sudanese, it's for the benefit of their own interests. And that is something that we as Sudanese cannot allow to happen. We have been the punching bag for too many outside parties and outside actors, and it's about time that we as Sudanese, revoke that and reject it. And unfortunately, the culmination of all of these external powers was the, outbreak of war, which is moving into its 3rd year come April 15th.
Fascinating insights, Dallia Abdelmoniem. Thanks very much for joining me here on TRT World. Appreciate your taking out the time.
Thank you for having me.